Madam Clerk, may I get a roll call?
Mr. Croxton?
Here.
Mr. Hunley?
Here.
Mrs. Sidner? Here.
Are there any corrections or additions to the agenda? I have one. Ms. Sidner, Mr. Hunley?
No.
Okay. Request we move action item A and now make it work session item B. And that is about the MOE update. Ms. Tazenari is aware of that and is here and prepared to do that. That's it. All right, first agenda item for the work session is BOD Accountability Update 2025. Ms. Gross, thank you. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you all? Let's get this hooked up here. All right. Good evening, Chairman Croxton, members of the board, Dr. Jones, Ms. Saunders. I have an information item to review the changes in the accountability system. You may be aware or partially aware of the changes, but they're quite different. So we're going to step through the differences in that accountability system and look at some preliminary data, but I will preface that by saying any data in this presentation is preliminary and subject to change. All right, so we are under a new accountability system. It takes the place of the state accreditation system. So you will no longer hear a reference to state accreditation, but you will hear accountability. And all schools are going to be ranked in a subset of scores in multiple areas. This is based on the last year's testing year 24-25. Before, everything was based on SOL scores. That is not the case any longer. If you see this is a basic elementary accountability model for the state. You'll see that about 65% of this model is focused on mastery. So those are things like SOL scores. And another 25% is based on growth. We had a different type of growth in previous years that was built into the SOL system, but now this growth comes separately in a report from the state. It's not calculated the same way. And then we also have the readiness category, which has things like chronic absenteeism, preparation for the workplace, and others. So this is the elementary school model. A basic middle school model is similar with a few differences. You have mastery still taking up the highest percentage of the scores, and then growth, as mentioned before. And you'll see the percentages can change a little bit between schools. They also can change between individual schools depending on what's being measured. Here for readiness, we also have some information about advanced coursework, which we'll get into a little bit later. And then when we move to high school, the growth piece disappears, and instead we still have the mastery piece, which is at 50% in this case. We still have readiness, but the readiness expands to include preparation for work. And then you also have your graduation rate in the high school accountability system. So these are the basics. Now for each school in Virginia, these things are going to be calculated and they're going to go into accountability categories. So each school in Virginia is going to get an accountability score, and that score will fall within the range of these 4 areas. The lowest score being category 4, which is a school that's in need of comprehensive support. The next category is 3, meaning a school that needs improvements. Category 2 would be a school that meets requirements, and then finally you have your category 1 school, which is a highly successful school. So this is the way things are going to be released by the VDOE at the end of summer, early fall. All right, now a little separate from that, we have our federal designations. The VDOE uses these designations for in federal reporting and federal accountability. Not sure where that is going to end up, but right now we have what is called TSI, or Targeted Support and Instruction Schools. These are schools whose subgroups are below the bottom 5%. Under that, you'll see the additional targeted support and improvement school. These are called the ATSI schools. We have 2 schools that are ATSI schools. The first one is Essex High School, which is in its 2nd year of ATSI, just finished its 2nd year. We really hope that Essex High School will come off of that list this year. They've been doing well over the last couple years. And then at JCIS, last year was their 1st year in ATSI. Both of these schools are primarily in ATSI due to scores in the area of special education. For comprehensive support and improvement schools, they were the lowest percentage of Title I high schools that have a low graduation rate and that fail to exit ATSI after 3 years. So you can see EHS needs to come out of ATSI, which they have made significant progress, so we're hoping that that's the case. Overall preliminary SOL test report scores, these are not adjusted final pass rates. These are rates that are released by our CIP consortium. So they pull our data from Pearson and they do some calculations for us and provide that information back to us. So based on those reports, as you can see at Essex High School, first of all, I want to give a big kudos that first line, Essex High School exhibited the 3rd highest growth in the whole consortium, which is well over 50 school divisions. So Essex High School is making significant progress. As you can see, the 23-24 pass rate was 54%, and this past year that jumped up to 71.25%, 16.48% increase. So you can see that we're really hoping that Essex High School will move out of that targeted area because they are doing well. James H. Carey stayed about the same, a little higher, 0.96 percentage points higher. Tappahannock Elementary still about the same, but minus 1.9 percentage points.
Ms. Gross?
Yes.
For the public's edification and for Dr. Jones, in case he doesn't know, can you describe that consortium, like who's it made up of? Because I think that's relevant.
It is.
In the top 50.
Right. So a group of small school divisions, it began in the western part of the state where the small school divisions decided they did not have the manpower to pull together the resources that large school divisions have. And so by pooling the talents of multiple school divisions, they're able to provide resources and support, and for instance, data reports and things like that we aren't able, it's much easier for us to do as a large group. So it's very helpful.
And also curriculum development, all sorts of just things to help to assist us that we just don't have in-house. So.
Sure. Real smart.
Good stuff.
And let's see, Tappahannock Elementary, this breaks it down a little bit. Math 3 is very strong, 76.71% pass rate, and math is exceptional. Math 4 made a very large improvement, going from 31% pass to 62% pass, which was a 31 percentage point gain. So we see a lot of gains here. There was a slip in reading 3, but overall gains in the other areas. As far as James H. Carey is concerned, first up we have reading. There were gains in 3 areas, and then we saw some regression in reading 5. In math, we saw it was a bit up and down. You'll see the 100% pass rates in Algebra 1 and Geometry are for your advanced students who are being accelerated in middle school, and they all passed, which I believe was 24 total students. Math 7 saw an increase, and then we saw slips, particularly in Math 8. But we had not had as many students pulled out for accelerated math, which could be one of the reasons why that Math 8 slipped, because those students are now taking either Algebra 1 or Geometry tests. Preliminary data here for science. We know science is an area of focus for us. And it's going to be an area of focus for us going into the next school year. Essex High School, again, here's where we see our gains. Geometry, I mean, all of these scores are above 70%. You've got 88, 92, 70, 72, 73. We haven't seen that at the high school in a few years. So that feels really good to have that school have had such a turnaround. We do see low scores in history. And history is not included in the accountability system, which is why it's not listed here. But we are looking at that, the curriculum there, and making some decisions around history to make sure that comes up too.
And I'm okay with a decrease as long as it's from 100.
Right. All right, so here's where it gets a little tricky. Now each score a student gets counts for a different number of points. This is brand new. So if you get an advanced pass rate, that's 1.25 points. Proficient is a point. Fail basic, 0.75. Fail below basic, 0.25. So again, all of this is new to us. Again, the numbers that are plugged in here are preliminary data. They have not been adjusted. So these are just too premature to be able to call them final by a long shot. So you'll see there how it works, and you end up with a total number of mastery points for reading and math, and that will be 55% of the accountability for the elementary school. And then we have chronic absenteeism, which is 10% of the accountability. Did I miss something here? Okay. And now we put it all together. The first two lines are the mastery in math and the mastery in reading points. And science is not tested at the elementary school, so that does not count. We do not have enough EL students to count, so that's also too small, so those are removed. And then we have these math and reading growth scores that are calculated at the state level. This is not a growth calculation that has been provided to us before, so all schools will really just wait. What they did is they did calculations to predict where each child should be at the end of the year, and we just do not have access to that data at this time, and they are going to release that information in late summer or early fall. So there's no way to say where we stand here. And then for the readiness percent, you see the chronic absenteeism. There's no advanced coursework at the elementary school. So as you can see, in previous years when we were just looking at SOL scores, this is a vastly different model for the accountability piece. JCIS. Here, again, we have reading mastery, math mastery, and science mastery. And you end up calculating your total number of points in each of those areas. We have a chronic absenteeism rate, and then advanced coursework. So this was helpful to us because all of the students taking algebra and geometry passed their tests, and we were able to get credit there. And so here we have math, reading, and science scores. We don't have EL. Again, we're waiting on the growth scores for math and reading, so that's to be determined. We have our chronic absenteeism and our advanced coursework points. As you can see here, the total is 61.68. We'll wait and see what the growth is to determine the final score. I did drop in the actual scores on all of these. If a school ends up scoring in the end below 65, which we don't know yet, right, it would need intensive support. 65 to 79 would be a school off track. 80 to 89 would be an on-track school, and 90 and above would be a distinguished school. Moving on to EHS, we have reading, math, science mastery points calculated here. And again, for all of our schools, we do not have enough EL scores to count. Then we have what is called readiness. And readiness at the high school is weighted pretty heavily. we have what is called Ready for Life, which is students who get associate's degrees count as associate's degrees. We have a category for 3+ college courses with a B or higher, so that's our 19 students. We have early scholar certificates. The reason why I think you don't see that populating is because our early scholars program, they haven't matriculated and graduated yet. So they're being, that will start populating as they graduate. And then dual enrollment credits and some other things like that. For Ready for Life employment, you'll see the completers. So we have 44 CTE completers according to this data. As far as the other completers go, don't ask me too much about that because that's a CTE lane. However, there is a webinar tomorrow that is going to be held about these CTE completers that's been shared with the people who need to be involved in that. Ready for Life enlistment looks like area for growth. Ms. Booth was only able to get 4 scores for graduating seniors. So that seems like a potential room for growth in that area. And when you add those scores up, you get the Ready for Life combined total.
Question on that.
Sure.
I was going to ask before it came up. So we've been collecting or attempting to collect this data for a few years, right, of percentage of graduates that do one of these 3 things, because we hope that they all do one of these 3 things, right? And I've heard from, it was Mr. Barfield at the time, that it's a bit of a struggle because you can't collect it till like they've graduated and they're gone. So one of the limiting factors is them responding.
That's true, but everything on this particular slide is counted when the child graduates. So it's if they already have an associate's degree when they graduate from high school, because some get both degrees. The 3+ college ready, those are kids who successfully completed 3 or more college courses with a B or higher by the time they graduated from high school. So this actually doesn't follow them out of high school. It just is a measurement of how prepared they are at the moment they graduate.
So is this way of measuring it replacing the old way? Actually collecting the data? Or
I'm not well versed in that piece.
Because like for enlistment, yeah, you take, if you choose to, you take your ASVAB in November of even your junior year, but that has nothing to do with actually enlisting in the military.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think this may have been the VDOE's way to measure it that was more exact, because you're right, you can't go out and figure out, okay, did this person enlist? Maybe they enlisted a year and a half later, it's just very hard to measure.
Well, and the reason I ask it all is I did get some feedback from a citizen that's in the workforce development business and, tracking this, and I think she was supposed to send me a report that apparently our rate of people doing one of these 3 things was really low for the region, which could be explained by people just not giving the feedback. Hopefully there's actually higher than it appears to be. I was just curious.
That would be my guess. I don't know what the processes are for collecting that information at the high school level.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And graduation rate at EHS, 15.8. And preliminary overall score. Now, let me just go ahead and point out that when we looked at these mastery points, these were the kids who took it this year. The cohort for the graduating seniors is not pulled out of this data, so you're going to see that change a bit. So I just wanted to point that out. And we're hopeful that the high score in the end will end up with at least an on-track designation. It looks fairly promising, so we're hopeful for that. And we as a division have. Obviously, this gives us the opportunity to take a close look at this data and think about how to best support our staff and benefit our kids as we move forward. Any questions?
Board members?
In regards to the too small to count, are we penalized as far as a division because it is too small to count?
That's a good question. What they do is they pull out that percentage and redistribute it into other categories, so we're not penalized.
Okay, well, that's good. And in regards to what you were asking, Scott, in regards to let me look at here. the enlistment. Are we doing a lot? What are we doing at the high school to encourage people, students, to enlist?
Yeah, and that's why I said that's room for growth. I can't speak directly to that because I'm not well versed in that process at the high school, but it's definitely something to look into, see, okay, are all kids given the opportunity to take the ASVAB? I don't know what that process is, and Mr. Pitt is new to the school, so that will be something that we'll be researching to see how that currently works and how it can be better.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and this is great education for us because it's all brand new. So let's just, I would encourage us all to keep updating us, keep the more we hear it, the more it'll kind of sink in through osmosis, and that way we can focus on it and keep the trajectory in the right way, or in the right direction.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy model. It's
Right.
a little tricky. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is item B, the maintenance of effort initiative.
Good evening.
Good evening.
What you have in front of you tonight is an informational item, and I do believe that the school board may be wanting to take a somewhat of a different tact on this. But we did receive from the Virginia Department of Education.
Pardon me. This was originally item A on the action item. We've moved it back to an information item in the work session. So if you want to look at what she's speaking of, you'll find it in section 8, action item A.
Okay, thank you.
So we received the invoice from VDOE concerning the non-compliance with the SPED, Special Education Program expenditures. I made y'all aware of this back in March at the joint meeting, and we have been working with VDOE on this. So with this invoice received, I have gone ahead and created a budget action form that will be taken to the Board of Supervisors tomorrow night at their meeting about pulling the funds from the unassigned general fund balance for payment. Now, my understanding that you are going to look at using legal representation to see if there's an opportunity to further have a discussion on us not having to actually fulfill this payment. But I will go ahead and take the information to the Board of Supervisors tomorrow night, go ahead and have them approve it with the understanding that it will be held for payment until such time as the school board and the superintendent notifies us about where we're going to land with the legal.
Okay. And board members, what she is speaking of, if you look at the memo from VDOE, we've been awaiting that official notification. We've known we've known that it was coming for a few months now. That prompted me personally, just the absurdity of paying a penalty for not spending. I just don't know how paying a penalty helps us spend more money, local money, on special education. In fact, it seems to do the opposite. So I just, we didn't know anything about this until we did know about it, and it just seems absurd. But as I read into the IDEA Act and some of the exceptions and stuff, there's multiple appeals and exceptions to it, and Ms. Bobby has asked, and I'm certain she's asked, don't we qualify for some of these exceptions? It kind of bothers me a little bit. This letter indicates and actually says explicitly that we didn't identify any of the exceptions, which is just not true. We did. They apparently shot them down verbally, so we're going to make them prove that we don't, especially 300.204A, which describes voluntary or involuntary departures of people that were instrumental in doing your plan and accounting for your plan. I think we did lots of that. So so we're going to appeal for, and may as well use our attorney to do that. I've already, through as many channels as I have, gotten word to the state superintendent and the Secretary of Education that we're going to appeal this, but we're going to let them do that. So that's the reason we moved it to an information item, is because I'm not recommending that we act on this and pay this penalty without exhausting all opportunities to get relieved of it. So, are you guys in agreement with that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
right, we're going to wait until 4:45 to start our public hearing on the Central District School Board seat vacancy, in case anyone was planning to show up right at that time. Do we have copies of their resumes and letters available for the public to look at if they need to?
Would you like that posted on?
Oh,
I thought we decided we wouldn't be, because, is this pertaining to the interviews?
yeah, the interviews, we need to have the resumes. I'll read the names, but we need to have the resumes and their letters of interest available
Right.
to the public, yeah.
But it has personal information on it.
Okay, can we redact that, or?
Okay. What would you like for the public to see? Just names and experience?
Yeah, names, names, if there's what we're just discovering, actually, we're supposed to have the names, and we're going to read the names to you and let everybody have full transparency on who's expressed interest to be considered, and we're going to interview them later tonight. We're supposed to have their letters of interest so that you can read them, and their resumes available for you. But we just realized that it has a lot of personal information on it, home address and stuff like that. So we didn't bring them out there. I would say we got 13 minutes. Let's go redact them. Yeah, and just bring a hard copy of each out here so
And
we.
you'll just, so will you share the information with the public, or are they actually going to look at it? Because
I'd like a hard copy out here so that anyone who wants to,
So I
cares
could take
to,
some
can look at it.
information.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Use you got a black magic marker or something?
Yes.
Need some help?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you, thank you. Sorry about that. Appreciate your patience. And we will additionally, once we get them redacted, we'll post them on board docs for anyone who wants to look at them electronically after tonight.
Scott,
Yes, ma'am.
are we pausing for a second?
Yes, we're
Or
pausing
gonna
until
say-
4:45. And since we have a few moments, so Ms. Bobby's going to do that. Thank you.
As part of the Centralized Financial Services Department, we have been hiring. And these two ladies, if you want to stand up, are our finance generalists that we have hired. This is Julie Lynch.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Missy Walker.
Nice to meet you, Missy.
Hi.
We've also hired Tatina Fauntleroy, who
Okay.
is going to be our payroll generalist, and she will be joining us on the 28th of July. And so at that point, between the existing county employees and the new staff, we'll be fully staffed, and we're already working with Demetris and Duranda and, you know, all of the school staff and taking on responsibilities and just moving forward. I'm just trying to get them trained on the softwares and the processes, but I just
Great.
wanted y'all to have an opportunity to put a name with a face.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
At this time, we're going to invite public comment regarding the Central District School Board seat vacancy only. So we're only hearing a comment on that topic. Public comment at board meetings is just one of many avenues for communication. The board recognizes and appreciates the importance of input from and communication with the public we represent. The board invites members of the public who wish to address the board with comments on the Central District School Board seat vacancy to sign up prior to the start of the meeting, and the board will allow each individual to speak up to 5 minutes to express their views. Please respect that time limitation. The clerk of the board will enforce the time limitation, and please understand that the board will not respond to questions or concerns raised during public comment. Again, we welcome and appreciate your input. Prior to beginning your comment, please state your name and your voting district to the school board. So up here right now, we have resumes, and we have the letters of interest, that the same information that has been sent to us for the interested candidates. I can share with you that the 6 candidates, I'm very pleased and excited to share with you that we had 6 candidates, are Kristen Brooks, Valerie Taylor, Michael Brunig, Jean Quarles, Charmaine Young-Waddy, and Angel Jett. Those are the 6 names from the Central Voting District who have expressed interest in being appointed by us. Just for everyone's edification, and I'm going to explain this to the candidates later when we interview them in closed session. This is a very, there's lots of code, Virginia's code references of how this has to transpire based on the timing of the vacancy. And based on the timing of the vacancy and the fact that we're more than 90 days away from this November's election, tomorrow our attorney will file a writ of election with the circuit court that will trigger a special election. And because we're 90 days, more than 90 days out, the special election will be on the same date as the regular election, the general election. So this appointment we're making tonight is only for the rest of 2025. And so that person will serve for the end of 2025. And, obviously, us as a board, we would desire to appoint someone who has a high likelihood of getting elected and is committed to running for, getting on the ballot and trying to get elected so they can continue serving with us. But then that term that they get elected for is only for 2 years. It's not even a full 4-year term. So they're basically finishing out the balance of Ms. Floyd, who vacated the position. They're finishing out the balance of her original term, so that at the end of all of this, we're kind of back on schedule with staggered election cycles. So that's a big picture of what we're going to do tonight. So those are the names: Kristen Brooks, Valerie Taylor, Michael Brunig, Jean Quarles, Charmaine Youngwadi, and Angel Jett. So at this time, I'd invite anyone who wants to speak to either advocate for those folks or advocate for yourself to come on up.
Yeah.
They've already
We had
signed.
one person sign up. Michelle Dungy on there?
Yeah, she came up and talked to me, but you going to speak? Come on up.
Good evening. Michelle Dungy, and I represent the Greater Tappahannock District. I was confused, to be honest, about the process of like the public hearing and what is it that you're asking the public to do to speak or to endorse or whatever the case may be for the open spot. I don't have any say voting wise because it's not my district that's open. But I guess just I'm asking for, if this happens again, just make it more clear for the public to understand the steps, because I didn't know who was running for the spot, like what qualities were they displaying, was there anything that we needed to talk about. Now, I kind of figured that this would be the time where you could kind of maybe endorse somebody or kind of give some good qualities. So if I had to say, it would be Valerie Taylor for that spot. Ms. Taylor is an amazing human. She's going to tell you what's right. She's going to tell you what's wrong. She's going to tell you if you need a beating. She's going to tell you whatever you need to get done. But she's always going to lead you in the right direction. Despite her being my friend, colleague, advocate, support, anything that I need, she would be perfect for this spot because she's very compassionate. She's kind. She is intelligent. And it's always important to me, I think, that if we're going to have somebody on a school board, let it be an educator or a former educator, because they may not know all of the policies, financial or anything like that, but Ms. Taylor or whomever, as a former educator, can help lead the board and the school systems in the right direction to make sure not just financial needs are met, not just because we're meeting data scores or test scores or things like that. She's going to make sure the entire district, or whomever is going to make sure the entire district is taken care of as an educator, because they've worked in as a teacher before, and they can tell you what the needs are of your staff. Not some graph or some survey that's given out or hearsay. They can tell you what it is that the staff needs, what the students need, what the building needs, and what direction we need to go in. So that's all I just had to say. My vote would be for Valerie Taylor.
Thank you, Ms. Dungy.
Thank you.
And just to repeat, all of the resumes and letters of interest from each of the 6 candidates are up here for your review. You're welcome to come up now and look at them, or you can look at them at any time tonight. Or you can pass them around if you like to, whatever you like. Anyone else want to speak on the public hearing just for the purpose of either advocating for or encouraging us to look for certain qualities in a school board appointee? Whether you signed up or not. Anyone else? All right, if not, we're going to move on to the... I'm sorry.
Slow but show 'em.
I'm sorry.
Take your time.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Valerie Taylor. I am one of the candidates for the Central District, and I want to say that it will be a pleasure to be able to fulfill this opportunity. Again, as a candidate, just listen to what you just said about a special election. Those are things that I didn't know as well. So I will piggyback what Ms. Dungy said, that if this happens again, even let the candidates know what the process and what's the time frame and everything. Regardless if it was just for one day, I will still sit in that seat and I will work very hard. Yes, children come first, but we also have to understand, it takes more than just children. It takes the teachers, the bus drivers, central office workers, it takes everybody. I just saw on Channel 6 News where this young lady has worked as a custodian in college. And she has worked that she has now been able to get her degree. And she says some people may look down on a custodian. My thing of it is, a title shouldn't mean anything. A title can get you more money. Yes, a title can get you into a building. But it's what that person does is what should matter. How they carry themselves, the commitment that they have, and I can say, I will have that commitment and will do the best that I can for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and to the description of the timeline, it's incredibly complex to piece it all together based on when the event happens, the event being the vacancy. And we're certainly going to make all the candidates directly aware in their interviews later tonight. But also, the events have just happened, so tomorrow's the deadline for notifying the and most of the timeline, other than this appointment, is really completely out of this school board's control. The election piece, that's up to the voters, that's up to the circuit court and the registrar. I'm just describing it to them by my reading because I want them to be fully informed of what they're potentially signing up for. So, and I think most of them were probably under the impression that the appointment would be for a bit longer than just the rest of this calendar year. So, anything else from the board members? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to our regular meeting and our invocation. At this time, Ray Whitaker, former school board chair, will give the invocation.
I'm going to take this off doing the prayer, but I proudly wear this hat.
Absolutely.
It's not by an accident. First, I give honor to God. I pay homage to this chair, all other board members, to this distinguished superintendent, and certainly this lady right here. And I'll acknowledge some others doing my prayer. Our most precious and kind God, we come to you this afternoon thanking you for the many blessings that you bestowed upon each and every one of us. We thank you for this unique opportunity to serve. We thank you for the chance to mold, shape, develop all of our students, to help them to develop character, to help them move on to their future endeavors. And so, Father God, we pray for our cafeteria staff, our central office, our paras, our students, our drivers, our teachers. We pray for our administration. We pray for auto mechanics, and I may have missed a few, but the bottom line is we want to lift them up because this begins the 25-26 academic school year, and we want them all covered with God's blessing. And so, Father God, we are grateful that those who are in this assembly and those others who will come in later at subsequent times are here. But we pray for this board that it will continue to give our students the best chance to be all that they can be. And Father God, we don't ask anybody else to do this but us. And as one famous president says, ask not for what your country can do for you, but what you can do for yourselves. So Father God, we ask this board to not ask for somebody else to do things for them, but that they could do what they can do for themselves. And Father God, we know that we voted for them. And they are very competent people. We just want you to display your talents, your desires, and your wares to advance the cause for what we do for education here in Essex County. These and all other blessings we ask in the matchless name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Whitaker. All right, please, everybody stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, next is superintendent's report and any recognitions, if that's applicable.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Croxton. And I do have a point of business that I'd like to share, but just before that, if you don't mind, this being my first opportunity to address the board publicly, I would like to take just a quick moment to thank you all, to thank you for entrusting me with this great responsibility to lead this division to the next level. And so I did prepare just a quick statement that I just wanted to share, if you don't mind. It is my absolute honor to serve as your superintendent, and I would like to affirm my commitment to this role and to the vision that we share in our collective pursuit of pathways to excellence. So as I take the helm at this point, I just want it known that in general terms, in the most general terms, my focus is threefold. One, valuing and affirming our staff. You heard, I think Ms. Taylor talked about the adults, that absolutely important to children, but our adults, it's important. If we don't take care of our adults, then they can't take care of our children, right? But recognizing their dedication and ensuring that they feel supported, recognize that they are the heartbeat of our division. Two, prioritizing the well-being and academic achievement of our scholars. Every child, I believe every child deserves an opportunity to thrive. And then the third part here is uplifting our entire school community through the collaboration, positivity, and a shared purpose. And so I just wanted to offer that very brief remark as we get started here. I am eager to work alongside you all as board members, my colleagues, fellow educators, certainly the families and community partners. I'm ready to build on the strengths that already exist and then create even greater opportunities for the young people we serve. Together, we will move forward with passion and purpose. And again, I just thank you for this opportunity. All right.
Thank you.
For the one business item that I would like to mention, I'm sorry, before you sit back up there, Mr. Croxton, the one business item I just wanted to mention is that the 25-26 school calendar, we know that folks are probably getting anxious about it, but we want it known that it is currently being revised. So we didn't want it to be posted right yet because it is not quite finished. It is being revised, and I'll just give you a heads up that a couple of the things that we're looking at relates to the 2 additional days possibly being added to the Thanksgiving break, thereby giving the entire week off. So these are one of the things that we are taking a close look at. And then the other is we wanted to be sure that it's really clear as far as what to expect if we have days in the school year that are non-student days that we have to pull back and make student days because of inclement weather. So we want to be sure that we put it out there in the calendar when it's ready, those days that we have professional development set up for staff and students aren't required to come. They may be on the calendar as they should be, and if all goes well, they will proceed as planned, but there could come a time when we would need to pull, just depending on the weather, we would need to pull a professional development day or 2 or more back and make them instructional days for students. So we want to be sure that when we're prepared to post this calendar, that information is clear up front, so that people know what days we may have to pull back and when. So as much as we can get that straight, we want to be sure that we have that ready to go before we post it. And so we're not ready to post today, but I just wanted to put it on people's radar. That's what we're working on. All right.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think everybody's aware that this past winter, we got caught a little flat-footed because we'd had so many winters in a row where we had virtually no snow, and then we had 2 big ones. And so we're just putting in some more prescriptive language of what's going to happen when that happens, just to manage everyone's expectations so they can plan their lives. So,
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Jones. All right, next, board members, is the consent agenda. Assuming everybody's had a chance to review that, and unless there are any questions, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
May I get a second?
Second?
All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. The consent agenda is approved as presented. At this time, we invite public comment. We did have people sign up, is that correct?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
listed on your sheet.
Oh, very good, thank you. At this time, we invite public comment. Public comment at board meetings is just one of many avenues for communication, and the board recognizes and appreciates the importance of input from and communication with the public we represent. The board invites members of the public who wish to address the board to submit their comments to the clerk of the board no later than 12 p.m. on the day of the meeting. The board will allow each individual to speak up to 5 minutes to express their views. Please respect that time limitation. The clerk of the board will enforce the time limitation. The board chair will solicit generic responses from board members at the conclusion of public comment and may direct board members of the Essex County Public School Administration to investigate such concerns or to consult with the member of the public who raises the concern. The board also encourages members of the public to utilize the process for lodging complaints against individuals that is contained in the applicable school board policy before bringing those complaints to the board as a whole. The public may feel free to contact individual members of the school board directly with concerns if desired. As a reminder, it is inappropriate at a public meeting to make personal attacks, to be defamatory, or to disparage individuals or identifiable groups. Again, we welcome and appreciate your input, and prior to beginning your comment, please state your name and voting district to the school board. On the list I have in order, just so you can be prepared, I have Reverend Cornelius Holmes, I have Ray Whitaker, I have Kristen Brooks, and I have Christy Jackson. This is Reverend Holmes. I haven't seen him tonight. So Mr. Whitaker, looks like you're back up.
Keep the head on this thing. Good afternoon again. Just want to, first of all, welcome Dr. Jones, Mr. Pitts. I know they're not here, Dr. Halls. It's a joy. I held from the only position I did not have was superintendent, but I did all the others, and I including director of transportation at one time. But I just want to welcome you to the Essex County, welcome you to the school division, and I'm telling you, you are blessed with this board. You're blessed. You're blessed with these folks. You have some outstanding folks here that will be willing to support you and advance the cause of education. And obviously, we bow down to our children. We want to educate our children. They are our number one job. We don't have any other job performance. I also want to encourage the board to share with the public about the accomplishments of this school division. When I looked at accountability, I was very impressed by that report. There were some things in that stood out that says, we did it.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and I can go back to being state champions in football. That game was played, one of those games was played out here for the first time in the history of that school. That school started in 1971 for occupancy. It was really 71, but we occupied that building in 71. So I give you a little history there. But the thing about it is, I want this to be a team, your team. I want the effort to be a team. And I want all of us to do everything we can, again, to exhaust and to advance the cause of educating our children. I have been inspired by so many. I've been able to teach even the sheriff of Essex County. I've taught the mayor of Tappahannock, taught some other folks right here. So this, and you are an example of what Essex County, in other words, Essex County has the finest that can be offered in a country. And so I share those words because we need to continue to do that, and I know that we will under this leadership. I'm not even worried about it. So I just want to be your cheerleader. I want to inspire you to higher heights. When I look at the accomplishments, especially with, I'm a retired math teacher, and when I look at algebra and all those accomplishments in math, I'm excited. And I know that we can even do better. We can do even more. So I'm going to stop right there, but I want to say to all of you, you have an interesting job, you have a challenging job. And once we get this position filled, there are only 5 of you in this county that do what y'all do. There's no others, just you 5. And so we're encouraging you and we're inspire you to do what you do for us and our children. Thank you. We're taxpayers as well.
Thank you, Mr. Whitaker.
All right.
Reverend Holmes, you're up. I try to keep you from sitting down.
Good evening to the board and our new superintendent. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Again, I want to, on the tail end of Mr. Whitaker, and to let you know that we want to be your cheerleaders. We want things to go forward. You've done so much in the county. We want that process to continue, and I thank you for all that you have done. One of the things I just want to highlight is that transparency is important. I don't know if any of you have children in the school system. You might not. But if you don't have children in the school system and you're not a teacher, if you don't get involved with the teachers in public, you're going to kind of be at a disadvantage. So please make sure that doors continue to be open, as they are now, but even more so for public comments and speaking and the like. A year or so ago, there was some discussion about what code of ethics were you all going to go by, and there was a vote not to do what you've been doing before. But as the school students have a code they have to go by, it's nice to have some type of standard that this is the standard we're going to hold ourselves up to. And once you figure out what that standard is, I wish you would share it with us that we're going by this code of Virginia or this or that. So we know that there's some standard by which you all govern yourselves. And also when it comes time for report from the board, it would be nice sometimes in your report you let us know you've been to this particular group meeting or that meeting of your peers. That way we'll know that you are open in your focus. Because if you don't have students and you aren't a teacher and you don't associate yourself with other board members, you're going to be in a vacuum. And we've come too far in the county to be in a vacuum. I would like to be available to help in any way I can. I'll pass it also to the other ministers in the county, so that we can go forward. We have a new administration, some new board members, and Essex is on the way up. And I want that to continue, so please keep the doors open and don't be afraid. Not that you were in the past, but don't be afraid to let us speak. As long as we're abiding by the rules, one of the things Americans still have is the freedom of speech. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Is Kristen Brooks with us?
That one I wasn't clear on, so she may not be coming.
Ms. Jackson.
Good evening, school board members. Dr. Jones, welcome. In case you don't know, my name is Christy Jackson. I vote for the South District, and I'm a kindergarten teacher here at Tappahannock Elementary School. I just finished my 14th year in kindergarten, my 18th year overall. And I'm here tonight to speak honestly about my experience this past school year teaching an inclusion classroom. It was one of the most challenging years in the 20 years that I have been teaching. I had 22 students, all of them wonderful, but they were at widely different levels and several had special needs. Despite these challenges, I had little to no reliable support prior to Dr. Daniels. The only consistent help I received was when a student needed to be changed due to soiled clothing. Let me put it in terms many can relate to, baking. If I'm making chocolate chip cookies and the recipe calls for 1 cup of brown sugar and a half a cup of white sugar, but I'm told that the white sugar is not in the budget, I can still make those cookies, but they won't turn out as well as they should. They're edible, but they're not as good as they could be. That was my classroom. I did my best. My students made progress, but I know, and everyone who's been in a classroom knows, they could have done even better if I had the resources and support the recipe called for from the SPED department. For the majority of the year, I was alone in my classroom. I did ask for help. The interim admin supported my requests, but I never truly got the help. After months of trying, I just gave up asking and gave my students everything I had, but it wasn't enough to me, not for all of them. Based on an increasing need for special education services in their early grades, specifically kindergarten, I believe it is critically important to have a para in a co-lab classroom and a qualified SPED teacher providing support. We have students that elope, have bathroom needs, speech, developmental delays, etc. These were also some of the things I experienced last school year. At a recent school board meeting, I've heard there's money in the budget. We've heard teachers are the experts, so I ask you to trust us when we tell you what's needed. If you're unsure, come see for yourself. Spend half a day in an inclusion classroom. Talk with those teachers. Watch the dynamics in these classrooms. It's one thing when you come by and you say, hey, how it's going, but come in, spend a few minutes with us. See what it truly takes to serve these students. So because last year my students got the bare minimum, and that's not good enough to me, if we truly want to close those gaps and change lives, we need to front load and support where it matters the most at the foundation. Thank you so much for letting me speak and listening to me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, do you have any generic comments to any of the?
No.
I just appreciate everyone's
Yeah.
feedback and comments.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I didn't sign up because I thought the meeting started at 5.
Okay.
I just have a few, just real short questions. I don't have anything written down. May I speak?
Certainly. Board members, are we okay with that?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
sure, come on up.
I'm Cyan Yates, and I live in the town of Tappahannock, so that's for your note, Sharon. I noticed that this going to be the regular times going forward for the school board, that the regular meeting doesn't start?
No, ma'am, we have about 2 hours worth of interviews to do later tonight,
Okay,
so
all right.
that, yeah, that
We
pushed.
figured that, I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure. And to piggyback on what Reverend Holmes said, I had a specific talent that I was able to do my job before I retired. I couldn't farm like Mr. Hunley. I wouldn't know where to begin. I surely wouldn't let anybody put a pair of scissors in my hand and cut their hair, for heaven's sakes. I couldn't do what Garland could do. I couldn't do what you did, or our new superintendent. So what I'm asking, along with, or suggesting, if there's any training out there that the Virginia State Board of Education gives, take advantage of it. I mean, we were made to do it at the Federal Reserve, so just take advantage of it. It's not like, and let us know how we can help. And thank you for your commitment continually to serve our school system.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I had just a few, Reverend Holmes, great inputs. Specifically, the reports, that's something that's on my list too. So you guys are on notice, for those of you that are on the Tech Center and the Governor's School, when you go to those meetings, we need a little bit more feedback from those, what are we accomplishing there? How are our students doing? Are we filling all our seats? Things like that. So please plan on next meeting, giving us some more specifics, especially for those two or any meeting that you attend, that there's always something we should be pulling back from that's worthy of sharing. Mr. Whitaker, great advice. I'm going to admit up front, I'm kind of all business. It's just kind of the military in me. So I am, one of my weaknesses is heaping praise on people. I don't do that as often as I should. So I'm going to rely on these guys and the board members to help remind me that I need to do that. One moment. And then you left me out of that long distinguished list of people that you taught. And it's not your fault. It's because I wasn't ready to learn yet. But so no offense taken. But what did you want to add?
I know Ms. Sidman was on that committee, Northern Tech Center.
Yes, sir.
It'd be good to hear reports on what's going on over there. Maybe Mr. Hunley right now.
I'll get you
Yeah, that's
straight.
exactly what I just said. Yep.
I think we need to hear, because our kids do well.
Agree.
Especially in those contents.
Agree. You bet. That's exactly what we're on the same page. I appreciate it. And Ms. Jackson, thank you. I would only say and I'm not supposed to single you out, but have you funneled all those concerns? Okay. All right. Well, then we got to disconnect, because it is a true statement. We had a sizable end-of-year balance at the end of last year. So I'm here to tell you and confess, it is not lack of resources. So we have a disconnect. So that's what we're going to fix.
Past admin, and the new
Okay.
one didn't know about it until the end of the school
Okay.
year, and I was like, yep, I just gave up. I just
All right.
gave up asking.
Well, please don't give up. Let's recommit. Let's everybody gets a second chance. Let's work to connect those resources to the needs that you're articulating, and I appreciate you doing that. So that is it for public comment. All right, on to action items.
I would
Yes.
like to just say,
Please.
and in regards to Ms. Yates, we do, and we can utilize the VSBA for any type of training. We get communication from them monthly, and we as a board, if we opt to attend any training, any workshops, it's a personal decision that we select to do. So we definitely have avenues of training and sources to make us better at what we do.
Absolutely.
Perfect, thank you.
No, absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Bundy. Okay, action item agenda. We're going to skip item A because that's already been dealt with. Item B, textbook adoption, Bridge English.
Good evening again. I've come to you previously about House Bill 2777 and Senate Bill 955. We have completed the adoption process for math for the upcoming school year. When we look at English, as I've reported previously, we have 3 different textbook adoptions for English. And we're hoping to move forward with one adoption in the future. However, the current adoption of SAVAS expired in this month, July of 2025, and all of the other remaining English adoptions do not expire until July of 2026. So the best decision here is to go ahead and recommend we extend SAVAS for 1 year for grades 4 and 5, and then all of our textbooks will expire at the same time. This also gives time for the new division administration to go through a very thorough review of the curriculum adoption for English. So that is the recommendation for that action item, to adopt a 1-year extension for SAVAS for grades 4 and 5.
Board members, any questions for Ms. Gross on textbook adoption, Bridge English?
Nope.
If none, may I get a motion?
I make a motion that we proceed with the textbook adoption for Bridge English presented by Ms. Gross.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, ayes have it. Thank you, Ms. Gross. Unless you're staying up
She's up
for item C,
staying
textbook
up.
adoption for VPI classrooms.
Yes, we're required to keep this adoption current. Our adoption ended on July 1st, 2025, and is no longer available. We've reviewed 3 products. The product that's being recommended is the one that is provided by the Department of Education for free. It is the product created by the University of Virginia Center for Advanced Study of Teaching and Learning, and is recommended by the VPI program. So the recommendation here is to adopt Stream in 3, which is a free resource. It's provided for free by the Department of Education.
Very good. Any questions, board members? May I get a motion regarding the free textbook adoption for VPI classrooms, item C?
I make a motion to proceed with the textbook adoption for the VPI classroom. That's going to be free.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, ayes have it. Thank you, Ms. Gross. All right, the next item, board members, I opted to put this on as an action item, but if any one of you are uncomfortable approving this tonight, we can absolutely delay it. We got a little bit late for review. We've been discussing it. This is the pay and classification, the finalized pay and classification guide. Do realize that it's the exact same numbers. It's completely in keeping with the adopted budget that we've already passed, okay? This just gives a little bit wider pay bands and some things, but the numbers match up to the adopted budget, so it does not change. There's no budget implication for adopting this. It's just something that we were able to put together a bit late in the year because we have a brand new team looking at it, and they made improvements and enhancements to it to cover the entire staff. So if any of you are uncomfortable approving this tonight, we can certainly delay it. If you have had a chance to look at it and you're satisfied, which I can assure you it is aligned with the adopted budget, if you're satisfied with that, we can proceed, and I'll entertain a motion and we can approve it. So is there any board members that are not comfortable with proceeding?
I think we're good.
Okay.
I make a motion that we go ahead and proceed with approving the ECPS pay and classification for 2025-2026 as presented.
May I get a second?
Second?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, ayes have it. All right. And thank you very much, board members, for your patience and cooperation. The superintendent is very happy. He just doesn't even know it yet.
I know it.
Item E, Virginia High School League membership application. Any questions about, is anyone presenting on this, or is it just self-explanatory?
Self-explanatory.
All right, any questions, board members? No. That you can explain to yourself? If no questions, may I get a motion to approve the VHL membership application as presented?
I make a motion to go ahead and proceed with approving the VHSL membership application as presented.
May I get a second?
Second?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, ayes have it. Virginia High School League membership application is approved. Item F, superintendent's designee. Any questions about that? Self-explanatory. If no questions, may I get a motion to approve superintendent's designee as presented?
I make a motion to proceed, to proceed with the superintendent's designee.
May I get a second?
Second?
And all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, ayes have it. Superintendent's designee is decided. All right, item G, policy updates, GDQ, EA, EEA, EEAB, EEAC, and EEAD. That's all I could do not to break out the phonetic alphabet on you people. But these are the policies that we all have discussed in depth individually regarding transportation, and many of them are just changing the names to like a policy that was only about school buses to broaden it and apply it to school car drivers as well that transport students. And then some of it was just tightening up on some of our policies regarding transportation. Any discussion or questions about those? We've pretty much all discussed that at length. Okay. Right. If everyone's comfortable with those, then may I entertain a motion to approve the policies as presented?
I make a motion to approve the policy updates.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. All right, item H, more policies. VSBA policy updates, Delta through Gulf. See, there's some phonetic alphabet for you. As presented there, we had a chance to review those last month, so there shouldn't be brand new, but if in the meantime questions have come up, any questions on any of these policies that are just simply being updated? Hearing none, may I get a motion to approve VSBA policy updates, Delta through Gulf?
I make a motion that we accept the VSBA policy updates D through G as presented.
Okay, may I get a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, ayes have it. Thank you. All right, the next one, I'll read to it because I think we're supposed to, but it's a resolution to file a petition for writ of election. And our attorney is going to file this tomorrow with the circuit court. Am I correct? Do we need to read a resolution?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Whereas the school board of the County of Essex, Virginia, hereafter referred to as the board, is comprised of 5 members, 1 from each of 4 Essex County districts and 1 at-large member. And whereas Pamela Floyd was a successful candidate for Central District seat on the board in general election of November 2023 and was elected to take office for a term that was to run from January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2027. And whereas Ms. Floyd resigned from her position by a letter received on June 9th, 2025, leaving a vacancy effective July 1st, 2025. And whereas the board, pursuant to Virginia Code 24.2-226, is required to petition the Circuit Court of the County of Essex to issue a writ of election. Now therefore be it resolved that the school board attorney is authorized to file with the Circuit Court of the County of Essex a timely petition for writ of election in substantially the same form as the petition for writ of election attached hereto. And if we approve this, we'll be adopting this on today's date. May I get a motion to approve the resolution regarding the writ of election?
I make a motion to accept and approve the resolution to file a petition for writ of election as presented.
May I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it. Resolution to file a petition for writ of election is passed. Madam Clerk, don't let me leave here without signing that.
Yeah, I was thinking that right
And
now.
his
Yes.
contract, yeah, which I forgot this morning, so. All right, on to school board's report. We'll put you guys on notice, particularly for the governor's school and the tech school for next month. But if you have anything offhand from your last meeting, I mean, please do share.
We changed it up so we meet every other month now.
Okay, so it won't be every month, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Anything to share on?
And we're just starting to get rolling. They've got a new
Okay.
director this year.
Right, okay.
And so we haven't had anything to report yet.
Okay.
But I will by next month. We have Zoom meetings. We don't meet in person, unfortunately.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, the things I'm thinking of and the things I'm personally interested in, I think the public would be interested in is, how many slots do we have? Are we using them all? In your assessment, do we need more? Is there something we can lobby for to increase the throughput if we need it? Things like that. How are we doing? Or is what they're offering us meeting the demand? Things like that. Just some feedback and what are our success stories? From participating in those regional efforts. Thank you very much. All right, at this time, we will go to closed session. May I get a motion to enter into closed session for legal matters pursuant to the legal exception at 2.2-3711, parentheses A, parentheses 8 of the Code of Virginia, and review and discussion of personnel matters regarding 2 resignations, terminations, retirements, 36 appointments, 1 transfer, 4 supplements / extra assignments, 4 volunteers, and 4 amendments pursuant to the personnel exemptions at 2.2-3711, parentheses A, parentheses 1 of the Code of Virginia. May I get a motion?
So it's 5:30, so we're okay with going in now?
Yeah, we can go in and do our normal stuff before the interviews and start the interviews at 6. Yeah.
So move.
Okay, thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of entering into closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so folks, that's really going to be it for tonight. We're going into closed session. We're going to come back out and adjourn.